Hello, fellow Plexers. This video may not be for you. I am going to help Keith out in the PopOS Linux group on Facebook. He's got PopOS installed and he needs Windows in a virtual setting. And the only thing that might interest my normal Plex followers is if you're running a Windows Plex server and you're not sure about trying Linux. Same principle is going to apply with a virtual session of Linux under Windows with something like VirtualBox. You're not going to be able to use GNOME boxes like I am or like Keith will be able to, but you'll be able to do something with VirtualBox or some other virtualization software. So Keith, in the PopOS store, find boxes, get it installed. And you also need a Windows ISO. So let me open up a new browser window, and I have my ISO files in a folder off home. And as you can see, this ISO or ISO fell off the back of a truck someplace. So you need a Windows 11 install ISO file. So then you fire up boxes. Oh, important. Before we do this, if you don't have a Microsoft account, you can get into Windows without one if you cut your internet. So I'm going to turn off my internet to this computer, and Wi-Fi is already off, and then I'll get this installed. So as you can see, I've got a few different things installed here. So you hit the plus in the upper left corner, install from file, and let me go to the right folder and pick the Windows 11 ISO file. And let's make this bigger. So I'm not sure how much to give Windows. Let me give it 12 gigabytes. I've got 36 in this system. And it might need a bunch of hard drive space, so I'll bump that up to 50 gigabytes. And I'll hit create, and we're going to boot off that ISO file. So during the install, I'll pause the video. But this first part should not take too long. I can get Ubuntu installed and ready to use in under 10 minutes. Windows with multiple reboots, well, let's say I can get Ubuntu 24.04 installed and upgraded in under 10 minutes. It's a lot more time investment to get Windows installed. So as soon as I click here, my mouse is going to be captured. If I hit the Control and the Alt key at the same time, I'll get my mouse back. So that's something important to remember. So I'll click Next. Well, I got to click to be in the virtual session, and then I'll click Next. And I'll click Install Now. And again, I'm captured, but the Control Alt gets me out of that. Okay, so I'll click I don't have a product key. And we'll go with Windows 11 Pro. Sounds good. Click I accept. Next. And you'll want to do the custom install Windows only advanced. Next through this, but you see my 50 gigabyte virtual drive. And this is where it gets boring. So I'll hit Control Alt again to get my mouse back. And I'll go to my other monitor and I'll pause OBS Studio, and I'll come back once this is finished. And I think this will do a reboot during the process too. All right, I wasn't paying attention and the machine went to reboot. Basically was running and rebooting. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. Let's see, Windows and wait. They both start with W. Maybe I'll do an Ubuntu one or a Debian one virtually to show my Windows Linux friends how easy it is to install Linux on a system. Because you can always even buy a small SSD drive to pop into a system and pull your normal Windows SSD out and give it a try live too. Or if you didn't know this, most Linux ISO files allow you to live boot into the operating system without touching your Windows install. You just have to go into your CMOS and allow it to boot off a USB drive. And maybe change some settings so that you add a 5-second delay to the boot process so you can see some instructions on the screen. That would be called fast boot. Turn off fast boot. I've been waiting before you asked me to take just a moment. Windows worth the wait. Okay, we're here. Oh, I don't remember this happening last time. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Let's get this full screen. No, I remember when I installed this live, or not live, but bare metal, by not plugging in the Ethernet line, I could just set a user and a password. Well, let's take a little further. Let's restore internet. Well, will this catch up? Doesn't look like it. Let's restart it. Meanwhile, I'll see if I have a Microsoft password in my password file. Okay, let's try this again. You don't need no stinking internet for Linux, but it's cool if you have it. the Ubuntu 24.04 install for any Windows users watching from Plex World will ask you if you want to update during the install process to a newer version of the ISO, or let's say add newer updated files to the ISO you're installing from. It's all pretty neat. Device name. Virtual. Next. There's lots of moments with Windows. Lots of reboots too. Okay, let me pause this video and get myself signed in. I'll be right back. All right, I'm signed in. No, I don't want to restore from that. Set up his new PC. Create a pin, huh? Let's turn as much junk off as we can. Skip all that nonsense. Skip that also. Skip that. Not now. Decline the Office 365. And we're updating. So this is where I will end the video. But Keith, it really isn't too hard with boxes to get any operating system installed, including Windows. So I hope this works out for you. And to all my friends in Plex land, if you stayed with me this long, cool beans. The next video will be a Plex one. Happy Plexing.